history of a black Amazon beer dating back to 1557 exists, and while the recipe of this beer has been lost to time, Xingu is made using similar ingredients. Xingu Black first launched in Brazil in 1987 by a company that originally distributed Coca-Cola and was on the verge of bankruptcy. Xingu Black invigorated the small company, and now it's one of the most popular beers in Brazil. But is it worth checking out? Find out now on Two Dudes Reviews.
What up, guys? Yeah, today we have the good old Xingu black beer out of Brazil. And I believe I've had a Xingu before. It's been a while and I don't remember which one, so we'll give it a whirl and see what's going on. Oh, it's a twist off, FYI. But we're gonna pour this in and just see what's going on, and hopefully you guys have had a great holiday season. This should be getting pumped out into the internet world sometime early January, so yes, hopefully you guys are doing fantastic. But I think I got like a defective bottle. It just feels funky, but whatever. Also, good on you, Xingu, for having a darker bottle. Come on, Corona, and all that stuff. Anyways, let's get into the smell. There's almost like a little sweetness to it. Like it almost smells like a stout, almost. It might have a little bit of a raisiny kind of thing going on. It's trying to think. I don't know if I'd compare it to like a Dos Equis, the darker one, like an amber. The Dos Equis amber a little bit, just from an aroma standpoint, because those beers kind of have almost like a little plum thing going on. But yeah, so there's a little raisiny. I'm not getting a ton of aroma from the smell though. Yeah, so the aroma is very light, but it's not skunky. It doesn't have, I wasn't exactly sure what to expect. I mean, it's a black, but I wasn't sure if it'd be along the lines of kind of an inexpensive Pilsner or Vienna Lager out of Mexico, where it's just kind of really cheaply made and really cereal and kind of it's just that wet bread aroma going on. This doesn't really have that, so I'm interested. I think it has potential, so I will recommend on the aroma. But all right, let's get into the taste. Okay. Yeah, not bad. It's got a little bit of like an oat cereal kind of a flavor to it. There is a little bit of that raisin-esque kind of thing going on. There is a subtle sweetness, not much for bitter. There's not much of that going on. Honestly, yeah, it doesn't taste too bad, to be perfectly honest. It's I don't know what kind of beer to compare it to be perfectly honest. I guess it's its own kind of thing. But, yeah, man, I just... Maybe a little bit of black licorice. A subtle hint of that. No, not overpowering, but there's a little bit in there. Yeah, raisiny, kind of oat flavor going on. But yeah, and then just that subtle sweetness. I think it's surprising. I wasn't, exactly sure, because you see, okay, beer from Brazil. I don't know, man. It just I was not sure if it was just going to be like a really light, watery kind of beer. But this has much more flavor in it than I was expecting. So I'm going to recommend it on taste. Alright, next category is value for price. This is, you're going to pay more for this than like a Mexican import. That's just what's happening. I believe this single bottle costs in the $3, like $3.50 range, which, perfectly honest, you could probably get at least 2 beers out of Mexico, if not more for that. Although I think the flavor is definitely worth paying a little extra. Perfectly honest, I think I will recommend it. It's not crazy expensive. It's not, like German beer or British beer, costly for an import, and it is coming from a decent distance. So, yeah, I'll recommend it for value for price. I think, especially if you just get one and you test it out, I think you'll be surprised that there is a decent amount of flavor to it for not a crazy amount of money. But, all right, next category is distinction. How distinct is this bad boy? I'm not really sure what to compare it to be perfectly honest. I guess just other South American, Central South, Latin American beers. And outside of I've had a decent amount of beers from the other side, from like Chile and Peru and stuff like that. This is a lot better from pretty much all the other mass-produced ones that I've had. Because this one actually has a little more flavor. It's not super watered down. It doesn't taste skunky. It's actually, you crack it open and it's not that bad. So I think just comparing it to other Latin American beers, or at least South American beers, I think it's not too bad. So I will recommend it for distinction. Alright, next category is drinkability, and it's not that difficult to go through this. It's actually pretty easy. The alcohol content is 4.6, so pretty much right in there, right in that sweet spot kind of area. It's it's kind of like the mass-produced beer of Brazil, and to be perfectly honest, it's a lot better than a lot of these super mass-produced beers. I would honestly drink this over the Coronas. I drink it over the Millers and the Budweisers, and I actually like this better than the Heinekens and all this stuff. It's not just your run-of-the-mill mass-produced Pilsner. I think it's got more flavor in it, and it is easy enough to drink so that you could get a 6-pack and you'd be fine with it. Excuse me, some of the bubbles are coming up. It might not be the super best beer when it's incredibly hot out, which you're gonna get in Brazil, but it's also not very heavy, especially for being this dark. For being this dark and only being about 4.5%, it's surprisingly easy enough to drink through. So I will recommend it on drinkability. All right, last category is would I buy it again? And I don't know if I'd necessarily go out of my way to buy it. There's plenty of other beers that I'd rather have. I'm trying to think what kind of a restaurant or whatever you'd find this at. Outside of a Brazilian, or just like a Brazilian steakhouse or something. I'd have no problems with, being at like Brazilian, Argentinian steakhouse or whatever, getting that, knowing that, okay, I'm going to get a beer with some flavor with it. Other than that, I probably really wouldn't buy it other times. So I'm going to give it a half for that. It's not, I'm probably not going to go for it again, but, just know that if you do get it, it's, it might surprise you with the level of flavor and everything that it has going on. And, just a pretty decent all-around beer. So, alright, that is my review of Xingu Black Beer. Smooth as silk, as it says. I don't think I'm a fan of using the word silk to describe a beverage. But I don't know. It's a fine beer. I'd say if you haven't had it before and you see it, check it out. It's South American beer that you're probably not gonna, you're not gonna always have access to. So give it a whirl. Check it out. It's definitely worth it. It's definitely better than probably a vast majority of these Central and South American beers that you've had before. So give it a whirl. I wish Corona put out a darker beer like this. This is more along the lines of the Negro Modelo and the Bohemia kind of stuff like this, but this one might be a little smoother. So I don't know, maybe Smooth as Silk is apt for that description. But anyways, that is the review. So if you have any other beers you want me to check out, put it down in the comments. If you could like and subscribe, that'd be fantastic as well. And yeah, so that is about it. So for myself and for Xingu Black Beer, take it easy.